and you can pause in the middle. Hello, I'm Stuart Mackey of Mackey Productions Video Marketing, and I'm here with Kristen Munn of Digital Buzz Designs. Hello, Kristen.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Good. It's a little cold here for Tampa,
Yes.
and of course I'm from Illinois, so except I think I'm acclimated now. So Kristen and I, Kristen works with social media websites, and I do video marketing and video production, and so this blab and live streaming has really been taking off. So this is the first experimental blab between us, and we Kristen does social media, and because I do video marketing that kind of ties really tightly with social media, I also help people set up YouTube channels and get those videos up on their YouTube channels and their Facebooks and all that for them. And so I need to know a lot about social media to even do the video part, because you can't make a video in a vacuum. And just like, it's not like it was years ago when I actually delivered DVDs all the time. Now I don't even FTP them the files anymore. I say, do you have a YouTube channel? Make me an admin. I'll just do it, because I find that people are. So Kristen, let's learn a little bit more about you.
Sure. My company is Digital Buzz Designs. I do website design, email marketing, social media, as well as graphic design, business cards, logos, etc.
Cool. And how long have you been doing that?
I've been doing that my business hit its 1-year anniversary towards the tail end of last year, but I've been doing it for about 5 years.
I didn't think it had been a whole year. Okay, congrats.
Thank you.
Very cool. So for those of you that are listening to this or watching live, what we're going to do is this is going to be a podcast, probably, excuse me, I have a cold. This is going to be a podcast teaching and answering social media questions. So we really want people to come in and ask questions. And so I'm going to open up this one seat now. And if somebody has a question, they can jump in and I'll let you in. But Kristen, what do you feel what's the most common question you get when someone asks about social media?
Where to start? Which social media channel is going to work best for them based on their audience? A lot of questions about using it as a business rather than a personal. Some people think you can use a personal page for your business. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have a specific page that's made for businesses on Facebook. A lot of people ask me what a hashtag is and how that works.
Yeah, hashtags are the one, like, it's just a category, really, is how I look at it. It's if you want to be, it's like a filing system. Like if you want your content to be filed with other similar content, then you want to use a hashtag to kind of tag it like an earmark on the side. The other thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is when I'm comparing a personal Facebook to a business Facebook is, and this is a Facebook only thing because most of the social networks don't work this way. Facebook friends are reciprocal. So when you friend someone on Facebook, they're automatically your friend. It's much more kind of like life. Like, oh, hi, Kristen, nice to meet you. Hi, Stuart, nice to meet you. And now we're friends and we know each other and we talk to each other. But on the business side, it's not like Kristen, the first thing she wants to say to me in a conversation is, hi, buy some services from me. I mean, that's not how you treat a friend. That's not how you treat a relationship. But that translates to the business side too. But the business side is one directional. So the business page puts out announcements and news into the news feed, and people have to look at it and find it to follow it. But it's not an automatic thing that because you like my page, you're going to see everything I post. That's where hashtags and engaging images and video really help with your business page. The other super important thing, especially for someone like Kristen or I who are managing another person's account, is you have to have a business page in order to let us in. You have to be a business account lets you, hey, Chris is here. Hi, Chris. We're talking about Facebook business pages versus personal pages. So a Facebook business page, you want to create engaging images and videos so that it's more likely people are going to see it, but it's not a given. And then you can add people as a manager. So like, for instance, I'm a manager on several pages because I created a video and they said, hey, can you put the video on our Facebook page? So instead of them having to figure out how to upload it and rename the file and add all the descriptions and stuff, they just make me a manager and I upload the video, and then they just never bother to kick me off. I just go in and I change the set of settings so that Alfonso actually came in, helped us. Hello, Mac SEO Tips. Thank you for being here. Chris Kremitzos there is local too, and I've known him for a while. He's been doing a blab weekly for a while, so this is the intent of this show is to do a weekly blab. Kristen, so when you're trying to get someone started as a business page, what is a suggestion you make first?
Oh, well, I talk to them about which channels they are interested in and what their audience is, who they're marketing to if they're a business. As you know, it's a different audience. It's going to be on Pinterest than, say, Facebook. Most people think of Facebook when they think of social media for business. That's the immediate one everybody goes to. But I do try to recommend other channels depending on what they're trying to market as far as Twitter or, like I said, I'm a huge Pinterest fan personally.
Yeah, I think retail, brick and mortar and online retail really can benefit a lot from Pinterest. I met with someone that has a furniture store today, and that's one of the things I suggest. She's like, but she said something really smart. She's like, let me get one channel handled at a time. So the first thing she actually wants to do is she wants to hire me to help her with her YouTube channel and create a YouTube channel, create a whole branding package or banner, a little roll in. She has a latest iPhone and a Mac, so I'm going to teach her to do some of her own production, but she definitely already has said that she wants to hire me. Like when they do a big event, like they host a party or something and they have people over, she needs to be the hostess. So she wants to hire a professional to videotape that and make sure that the right stuff is getting. Hello, Kat Kentrill. Thank you for joining.
Video is definitely huge. It's a big trend for website design, especially this year, having a video in the entire background of your website.
Yeah.
And when videos are performing better than just still photos on social media anyway. So video is a huge part of marketing.
I use the service Buffer app to push out some of my scheduled posts, and I have now tried to every single post make sure there's an image, and because it just, you miss it. Even if I like it to be an image with text on it that says like the name of the article or whatever, if possible. But sometimes I'm sharing an article from another source, Social Media Examiner, different marketing websites I follow. And sometimes they don't have I just use their featured image and reshare it. And if it doesn't have text on it, then I don't always redo it. But that's one of those things I want to raise the bar and start doing, and aggregating content from colleagues and from industry people.
Yeah, that's great. I use Buffer as well. I love that you can schedule your different social media channels to post at different times. Even if you're sharing the same content, I can have the same article post to Facebook at one time and one day, and to Twitter another.
Yeah. Is that a tool that you recommend to people when they sign up with you? Is that
Yes, that's how I would manage their accounts, would be through Buffer.
Yeah. And for people that are new, Buffer is sorry, I'm learning the Blab interface, and I'm not having a multitasking. I'm squirrel. What I was saying is a Buffer app is a freemium. So I think it's 3 accounts you can do for free. And then if you want more than that, then you can pay, and it's like $10 a month or something.
The only thing is the free version of Buffer doesn't have Pinterest. So if you want to push to Pinterest, you have to pay for the account.
See, I have a paid account, so I guess I didn't realize that. I think they added Pinterest after I paid.
Yeah.
I have the paid account in order to manage multiple presences, multiple accounts. So we do have an open seat here on Blab. So if you want to join and ask a question about social media, you're welcome to click the seat and I'll let you in. Thank you, Chris. There's giving me props. All right, thanks, Chris. We're gonna let Chris in. And hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey guys.
You look like you're at home, comfortable.
I am at home.
Chris, we're talking about social media, and I know that you host a lot of meetups and classes that teach social media. What is the number one social media question that you get from people?
How to use it?
Yeah, how? Yeah, how?
Yeah.
How to get
start?
How to get results?
How to get results? Yes, I think the steps to do something are not difficult, but the steps to accomplish a goal can be much more difficult. So, do you have a question?
With social media, I guess there's so much to cover. Right now, I'm running Facebook ads for Podfest, and we're really putting out the pixels and kind of embedding the tracking. And right now, we're running some great campaigns. It's just sometimes conversions take time. So I don't know if I have a question.
Well, no, Chris, I'm glad you're on here. I'll go ahead and plug Podfest. It's podfest.us, and I'm attending. That's here in Tampa, Florida. So if you want to learn about podcasting and you don't know anything about podcasting, you're definitely welcome to check out Chris's website at podfest.us and register for that. I'm going. I'll be going. This is the second annual one, and I'll be going to that. I'm very excited. And but Chris, the big thing I want to start is this is kind of an introductory episode, and so even you mentioning things like Pixel and promoted posts and stuff like that, it gives me ideas of things to talk more about. That's really what I want to do with this first
one. I understand. That's where I was going. I wasn't going to promote Podfest, but what I was actively brainstorming.
That's okay. But the Facebook Pixel thing is that Facebook Pixel and remarketing are kind of like this weird, like black magic thing sometimes on the internet. You're remarketing for those of you that don't understand is if you're on Facebook and you see an ad for a chair you just looked at on Amazon like yesterday, that's remarketing. And Amazon has ways to do that, and Facebook also has ways to do that too. So if, say, you visit the Mackie Productions website and I have a tracking pixel on the Mackie Productions website, the next time you go to Facebook I can have something set up so that you'll see a promoted post from Mackie Productions or an ad from Mackie Productions, something like that. So it's also a way of tracking conversions, like Chris was talking about. People want results. So Facebook Pixel can be put, this is a super condensed summary, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, you can basically put a pixel in the shopping carts or in different stages of the shopping experience.
Yeah, you put it in your page, you put it in your, you put it in usually two stages, when they buy it and their thank you page.
Yeah, and so if they get to the cart and they abandon the cart, you can follow up with them one way. But if they get all the way through to this cart and they complete the purchase, then you can track that, and then you know what your ROI is from your advertising.
So let me ask you this: have you guys played with Facebook live streaming? I've used it once successfully. The second time I used it, my phone kind of didn't work right. So then I went to dinner and had a private conversation, and it said Facebook live stream was recording for an hour and a half, but I don't think anything went out. So I know Neil might have some feedback too there, Stuart. He just hopped in. But do you have any feedback on Facebook live stream, how people have been using it?
I haven't tried that yet. That's what Blab, like we talked about this before you came into the conversation, was one of the things Chris and I both recommend is learn one platform, learn it well, then add additional platforms. So Periscope and Blab are very similar. So those are the two I'm trying to learn better right now.
I like Blab better, and I'll tell you why. We do that Blab every Tuesday at Neil, don't talk. Okay, don't butt in our conversation here. So I like Blab better because you have a conversation with a group of people, and then they could tweet it out in real time. For my purposes, obviously, I'm sure Periscope's good at building the individual. But, man, the Blab that we started with Podcasters Hangout, I mean, John Dennis puts it in his group. I put it in my group. All of a sudden, we usually start with 10 to 15 people, and then throughout the Blab, we have 80 to 100 people listening. So it's pretty powerful.
I haven't used Facebook myself. I would love to learn. This is my first attempt at doing any kind of live streaming, but it definitely seems much more interactive than what I've seen on Facebook.
Neil, you can't tell, but I'm looking at you when I just shook my head like that.
I had to do it.
What did Neil do?
He's on the Blab, and he's making comments.
Look in the chat room, Chris, while you were talking. He's
the thing I want to follow up on. Oh, there's a baby. My son's not home yet. That was one of the reasons I scheduled this now. Is my wife's picking up.
Well, the cool part of live streaming is you're supposed to be transparent. Like, people like having kids running in the background.
If my cat was pulling on the door, I'd probably let them in, but they haven't been.
Yeah, everybody's got their cats or their dogs out there. I got my birds right up here, but
they're being quiet on this one.
On his shoulder.
Wait till Katie walks in with the baby. You'll see how quiet they are.
The big thing that's awkward on Periscope is, yes, you see that people are in the room and they're talking to you via a chat, but you don't know if they're like, it's just weird to talk to a text message, I think, on Periscope.
Can you guys even hear me, or is it?
I hear you, Neil.
I hear you.
We can hear you, Stuart.
I
Just
thought-
keeps talking
no, I
over
thought
you
it
because
was-
he doesn't
I
want
thought
to.
it was-
Oh, you're a lot softer.
I thought it was muted. I only hopped in for a quick second because I'm off to the my first Lightning game in over a year because Lee Silverstein invited me.
Awesome.
Oh, how cool.
I've been working all
What are
day,
they
but I wanted to just throw in one quick thing because tomorrow I'll be in Stewart World for the whole day. But being a parablabber, the guy who came up with that word, I can tell you that I agree with him 100% about learning one platform first. And I think the thing about Blab that's more powerful in all of them is obviously the live interaction, the fact that they send you the audio and the video when you're done, and then you can repurpose that across all whatever social media you want. But I use Periscope and Blab in concert. So I build the audience on Periscope and then I invite them to a Blab so that way I can meet them in person. And that tends to generate a lot more attention. So if you have a topic you want to talk about or you want to do something like that, you go to Periscope, you build your audience there, then you invite them to your Blab like this one that's very specific. And that way you could generate a little bit of both. You have the Periscope and then you have this to record it and stuff. So that's how I use it, and it works really well.
That Durham Skywriter in the chat room was actually saying almost the same thing. And I did that too. At about 4:45, I did a Periscope and announced the Blab, and then I tweeted that. And then one of the things that I took a lesson from you, Neil, is something like Blab and Periscope are really personal branding. So that's why I chose to use my name Twitter for this versus my company Twitter for this. But I did have my company Twitter retweet myself. So that way, if there's a few followers that follow the company name, that would make a little sense. So I know you and I do video production, but social media video production. What question do you hear the most on social media about when it comes to social media from other people that you meet?
Me personally, the one I get the most is about Blab and Periscope. Like, does it work? A lot of people that haven't tried it, instead of trying it and building on something, they just want to know ahead of time by everybody else, does it work? And you can never answer that because it might work for Chris Krimitsos and it might not work for me. And we're doing the exact same regimen because it's all about also your following that you've built. It's also about what your expertise is. It's also about a lot of things. Like in your case, Stuart, like I do what you do. I promoted my company like crazy on social media, and we only followed @Neil Galarte. I got to the point that I got so annoyed, I deleted most of my some of my social media, just left mine because it didn't matter that I was pushing Wild Style Media. They were following @Neil Galarte, or if Chris would give me an opportunity to speak, I'd be saying, hey, follow All Things Post, the podcast, and then they would click on @Neil Galarte. So now I've made it where @Neil Galarte is the catch-all for everything, and I deleted some of the social media that's not getting me the traction, and that way there's less places that I have to maintain content for. And on @Neil Galarte, I will promote everything I do now instead of just, oh, this is me, this is my business, this is my podcast. It's too much.
That really echoes the theme that this seems like it's been, is start with one thing, even one persona. Like if you're going to get on Twitter, I think, especially if you're a small business owner, definitely doing the branding yourself on Twitter is definitely the way to go. I have 5 Twitters and I'm rethinking that 2 of them are more or less stalled. One of them is for a client, and then I have my company and I have myself. So I heard you speak on that same topic a while back, and I've been thinking of doing the same thing. So anyway, I know you got to go, Neil and Chris. I don't know what your next thing is, but you guys, I put it in the chat if anybody wants to jump in. No one said anything, so
Hey, before I go, I just want to make sure we ask Neil how his life changed after he coined the term parablabbing. It's pretty big.
Yes.
Well, once the $1 million check cleared from Chris Krimitsos' company, it went really well. You know what's funny? Before I leave, it's funny, the parablabber thing. All I was telling people, if you were on Periscope and are now on Blab, meet me, #parablab. And I thought it was a joke, and it's turned into like the Podfather thing, where every time I get on a Blab, the first thing people do is, oh, it's the parablabber. And it makes me laugh because I never set out to create a hashtag. I was just saying, let's mix Periscope and Blab. But last thing I want to say before I leave, in all seriousness, though, is for anyone that's listening, I know this is a great title of beginning and the basics of social media. I've been on social media for eons, and all I can tell you is you have to use every single platform exactly the way it was meant to be used. My Instagram is 100% only for behind the scenes of my company, media productions. I don't sneak in a picture of me and my kid. I don't sneak in stuff. It's what it is.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then
Who's doing that?
I have never seen the claps move that fast in my life.
Right there. Thank you, guys.
They must have some special machine, man. I don't even know how he got up to 20.
You know why? Because I probably do so many damn blabs, bro. I think at this point I could suck and get a couple thousand. But the reality is,
They're the same person. I saw that.
Yeah. Thank you, whoever did that. But yeah, use these platforms for what it's for, and then invite them to the other platforms, and that's sort of how I've been able to build up. So that's my advice to everybody who's getting started.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate that. Neil has I do enjoy Neil's podcast, All Things Post.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'll be working under you. You could step on my neck all day and get away with a smile. Huh?
Hey, Neil, what do you think about people repurposing their blab as a podcast? That was the question that was asked.
I think it's brilliant.
I've been thinking about doing it for the Podfest one, but I'm curious what your thoughts are.
That's what the intent is of this blab. In fact, there's several podcasts I listen to that used to do Google Hangouts, and now they do it as a blab, and then they actually they do zero post. They trim the audio in and out, and they do a little crossfade, and then they upload that to their host, and that's the podcast. They even it was not Daniel J. Lewis, Dave Jackson, as I was listening to, and he actually has his mixer hooked up to his mic, and so he's actually mixing in his roll-ins on the fly while he's doing his blab. So he has like zero post-production. So I don't have a mixer at this desk, so I can't do that. But
okay, that's awesome. What does Neil think?
I think that they meant for it to be that way when it started from the get-go. The reason when I first came on to Blab and there was nobody here but like 25 people, it was literally all podcasters and a couple of Periscopers. So I think that they knew that that was the value add for a podcaster. And I think it's a brilliant idea that you can even take the video and put it on YouTube and you can double repurpose. So I think it's great.
Especially podcasters who want to do interviews, because when we were at Podcast Movement last year, I think there were at least 4 services that their sole purpose of their product or their software or whatever was to record remote interviews. And that was like the whole point of the product, and it was all for sale. And so Blab has launched. Of course, it's in beta, so it's free right now. Who knows what's going to be in the future. But it's so much easier and higher quality, in my opinion, to do a Blab because it's not dependent on the I'm getting technical, but yes, that's and that's the intent in this Blab. Now, whether this one will go up or not, I don't know. I may record a little intro and add it at the beginning. But that's the point of doing this.
I mean, I will definitely use this one because Chris Krimitsos is a high-priced commodity, and you might
stop.
And you saw how many thousands of people we bring to the table.
Yeah, 2,600. There's one person. I saw him.
I'm just talking crap.
Holding his mouse button down or something.
Yeah.
So
probably just owe him money. But listen, I'm going to head out because I have other places to go. But I wanted to stop by because I thought it was really cool that you were touching on this topic. And I know that's why I was glad to see Chris on here because at least in Tampa, he's a leader in doing this stuff and getting people on that stuff. My biggest thing is just keep trying the new medium, but stick with the one that gets you the engagement you want, and then double down on that one. You can always come back. It's not going anywhere. And with that, nice to meet you, everybody. Digital Buzz, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Later, Chris. I'll
have a great time with Lee. Say hi to Lee.
Thanks, Neil.
Thank you.
All right, Stuart, I'm going to sign over now and let you have.
All right, Chris. I think hey, now the bird's there.
Yeah, that's Charlie. He climbed up on my shoulder. Take care, Digital Buzz. It was nice being in the lab. Congrats, okay?
All right, thank you, Chris.
Bye.
Well, I think I'm probably going to wrap up. I had said 23 minutes. I don't have to. I mean, I don't have to. If someone else has a question, or a follow-up comment to something we've talked about, the point of this podcast is this is going to be turned into a podcast rather, and answering social media questions. And so I definitely think along Kristen's line and our line we've been saying is start with one platform, learn that platform. I think my plan is to kind of do a theme per month. So maybe spend a whole month on Facebook and a whole month on Twitter and a whole month on Instagram, not necessarily in that order, except for that Facebook, I'm sure will be first. Maybe talk about apps that connect to Facebook, tips for Facebook. The pixel thing definitely is a topic that definitely needs to be explored. And I sort of understand it, but I'm not entirely sure that I have it implemented correctly on my website. So anyway, that is all. I thank you everyone for joining. When I do publish a podcast, I will definitely have to share all of the names. Of course, I have to figure out if there's a way to do that. Share all the names in the published podcast so that I know that you were in there. And so thank you very much. Goodbye, Kristen. I'll talk to you later.
Bye. Thank you.